When thunder roars, go indoors. An environmental PSA to prepare for lightning strikes as an athletic trainer. Presented by Vanessa A., Marlise, Hannah, Bree, and Vanessa V. So what exactly are lightning storms? To introduce our topic, lightning storms are large weather events that can include lightning, heavy rain, thunder, and strong winds. These electrical storms form from the interaction of ice crystals and water droplets in the clouds. The opposing positive and negative charges within the cloud and between the cloud and the ground can cause a lightning strike. This poses a widespread danger to physically active people who spend a lot of time outdoors. They are most common in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and the Mississippi and Ohio valleys. The southern Rocky Mountains and also parts of the Southwest are also potential areas for lightning strike.
Hi, my name is Marlise Cortez, and I am a part of the lightning safety group. I'm going to be talking about the main points in this article that are relevant to athletic training. In the 2013 National Athletic Trainers Association position statement on lightning safety for athletics and recreation, some main points for athletic trainers to understand are to have a very clear, written, and site-specific emergency action plan. As an athletic trainer, we should have an emergency action plan that has details about who plays which roles. For example, who makes the weather-related decisions, where the safe areas are to shelter, and when to pause, postpone, or resume games. Athletic trainers play the main role in both creating and enforcing this plan. One of the most important parts of the lightning safety plan is the 30 to 30 rule. This rule is that if the time between a lightning flash and thunder is 30 seconds or less, and then the play has to stop. After that, the game shouldn't resume until 30 minutes after the last lightning strike or thunder sound. The emergency action plan statement also makes it clear which shelters are safe for when the teams have to go inside and evacuate the field. In the article, some examples for this are fully enclosed buildings or hard-topped cars. Places in the article that say we cannot shelter in are trees, dugouts, or open fields. The article also reminds us that if someone is struck by lightning, we can safely touch them, and if it is needed, CPR and AED should be started immediately following the reverse triage approach that the article talks about. In the article, this approach gives priority to unconscious victims of the lightning strike. Lastly, the article tells us we need to consistently educate ourselves, do drills every year to ensure consistency within our emergency action plans, and constantly communicate so that everyone on the field knows what to do when storms have to happen, or when storms do happen. Overall, I think this article has made these points to be guidelines that reinforce our responsibility as athletic trainers to make proactive, safety-first decisions and protect the athletes and fans at our facilities at all times.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Livingston, and I'll be talking about some of the key issues and case studies with lightning safety. So the first thing is knowing and promoting lightning-related slogans is very key. This is super important for educating people on the dangers of lightning and thunder and also the timing of it. So phrases like "if thunder roars, go indoors," things like that can really help people to understand how lightning is dangerous and what to do if they see it or hear thunder at sporting practices or these sporting events. In terms of case studies, one study in Colorado surveyed different youth coaches about lightning safety, different information, what they would do in certain situations, and many of the respondents to that survey actually believed that common sense should be what determines when to postpone practices. Although researchers pointed out that actually the most ideal moment to postpone an athletic practice is actually when thunder is heard, because lightning will always accompany that thunder. However, lightning can occur without thunder being present. In that same Colorado study, many of the coaches who responded were also able to accurately answer questions about lightning, things about how to keep themselves safe, how to keep their athletes safe, and calling for help. So questions about, um, whether a landline or a cell phone would be better to call for help in these cases. And then in another coastal study that took place in 2025, this was a case study that occurred in about mid-July of an unspecified year, but victims of this lightning strike, there were six total, and a couple of them ended up with different things, but it was revealed in this case study that the victims of the lightning can end up with burns, electrical burns, ruptures or perforations of the tympanic membranes. This is their eardrum, and even elevated white blood cell levels. So, a couple of the women in this case study were actually thrown from where they were seated when the lightning struck. They didn't happen to see it, but they were thrown. And so, this caused some damage to some of them, some external, but then two of the women did not have any external visible damage. So that's also important to recognize that even though you might not see it on the outside, there could still be injury that took place on the inside as well. And so, although it's kind of rare to see multiple victims like this case from the same lightning strike, the case study actually shows that lightning is still dangerous no matter where you are outside or how many people are around you. That lightning strike can still not only hurt yourself, but also hurt the people around you. So, knowing when to go inside and how to stay away from lightning is super crucial for keeping your athletes safe, keeping supervisors and attendance of whatever sporting event you're at. That's also really important to just keep them safe.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and I am quickly going to go over the importance of ATs preparing for lightning strikes. It's very important for ATs to be proactive in preventing lightning-related traumas and casualties. And the best way to do so would be creating an emergency action plan, which includes a designated weather watcher, who is usually the AT, that's covering the event, and then identifying safe structures, like school buildings, field house, libraries, homes, or similar buildings that are a safe place from lightning. And usually all the safe structures would be fully enclosed buildings with wiring and plumbing. Some examples of safe structures that ATs would also have to identify would be hiding under tall objects like trees, poles, or elevated towers, which are potential lightning targets. So they should not go in that area, as well as large bodies of water like swimming pools, the park, picnic shelters, gazebos, or any rain non-metal shelters. And then in the action plan, we should also identify the appropriate time to suspend or resume activity if lightning is in the area. And it's very important to allow enough time for everyone to vacate outdoor facilities. So we should always prepare for that as well. So if it's a big venue, we would need at least enough time for everyone in the facility, including players, spectators, families, friends, anyone in the area, to safely get into the safe structures that I previously mentioned. And it's very important that you direct the spectators to appropriate structures, as they would not know, some may not know where it's safe, so that we can decrease the panic while everybody is safely getting to a safe location. And then it's also very important for ATs in areas that don't experience lightning storms as often to be more aware of the weather and weather changes, because they may not notice signs of a lightning storm or a thunderstorm happening in their area, like someone else who would be in common regions that experience lightning storms more often, so that they would be able to recognize the signs faster. So it's very important that all ATs are being aware, and it's mostly the weather watcher who would just want to be aware of sudden weather changes, or just be aware of how the weather has been in the last week or so, just that we know and be prepared for any changes like that.
How should lightning safety influence the practice of athletic training? To begin, the leading cause of storm-related death worldwide is due to lightning strikes. Lightning is often an underrated threat, causing both immediate and long-term effects. The most urgent concerns would be going into cardiac arrest, but most often these injuries are fatal. Many survivors suffer from neurological complications, hearing loss, anxiety, depression, seizures, and personality changes. The most common injuries come from neglecting the danger of lightning, and that is often failing to seek shelter. It is important to always find a place indoors and wait at least 30 minutes before resuming activity. Of course, this would be implemented through a well-structured EAP where both athletes and coaches would understand the procedures and how to respond to these injuries or potential threats. Some common sayings that we can implement to remember lightning safety, no matter what state we are in, would be: when it roars, go indoors. No place outside is safe when thunderstorms are in the area. And half an hour since thunder roars, now it's safe to go outdoors. Those are easy slogans that we can incorporate into our EAP and in our education plan to our athletes to make lightning a threat that's easy to identify and to respond to. Other things to assure, as I mentioned before, implementing a structured EAP, we can also follow NADA's guidelines and find the confidence to stop play when conditions are looking suspicious. This can look like consistent or annual drills or meetings to keep staff and coaches up to date, following the NOAA weather radio, or downloading a reliable weather app, and acknowledging the true dangers of lightning. Up in the far right corner, we're going to see an example of a lightning strike burn on this patient. And on the bottom here, what we're going to see is the lightning flash density. And this map portrays the regions of the highest cloud to the ground lightning strikes, so most often in Florida and the southeast. And the areas with the least frequent strikes would be the west coast and western states. Where these western coasts and western state areas aren't as often, this does not mean we should not incorporate a lightning EAP or neglect its threat to outdoor activities.